The S&P 500 and the Nasdaq close at record high as the earnings season kicks off. Investors also look forward to Fed Chairman Jerome Powell's testimony to the Congress for cues on the Fed's course of action going ahead. Asian markets trade largely higher on a strong handover from Wall Street. The GIFT Nifty is also suggesting a higher start for the Indian market. Crude prices correct. Brent falls to around $85 a barrel as Hurricane Beryl makes its way to the US West Coast. Gold prices too correct as investors' risk appetite grows. Prime Minister Narendra Modi meets Russian President Vladimir Putin in Moscow as he travels to attend the India-Russia summit. The two leaders will conduct official talks later today. After heavy rains bring Mumbai to a standstill on Monday, the IMD issues another red alert warning of heavy rain in the city today. Schools and colleges have been asked to remain shut and citizens are requested to only leave their homes if necessary. Good morning. In the Mumbai News Centre, I'm Sonal Bhutra and you're watching Power Breakfast. Those are the top headlines that we are tracking for you. We did see some of the US indices at record highs. So let's see what's happening with the Asian markets because of that. It's a largely green-looking Asian market. We have the Taiwanese index, which is up around 130 points. The Hang Seng, though, is seeing some profit booking today. But apart from that, it's every index actually is in the green today. If we talk about the Asian markets, the Shanghai is higher by 0.1%. The Nikkei is also up 1.1%. A lot of action in individual shares like Samsung, Hyundai in that region as well. If you talk about the GIFT Nifty, that should come up for you on the screen, and that one is indicating that the start for our own markets could be absolutely flat with some negative bias. We'll have to see which way things go because yesterday as well we saw that recovery from the lows for our own markets towards the end of the trading session, but right now it is absolutely flat. Let's talk about the US markets. Wall Street ended mixed on Monday. The S&P gained 0.1% and the tech-heavy Nasdaq added 0.28%. Both the indices closed at all-time highs ahead of inflation data and second quarter earnings reports. The Dow Jones ended the session 31 points lower. Investors eye Fed Chair Jerome Powell's Congress testimony and the June Consumer Price Index due to be released on Thursday. Investors hope that a slight improvement in the headline numbers could prompt the Federal Reserve to start cutting the interest rates soon. And on the earnings front, PepsiCo and Delta Airlines will post their earnings on Thursday, while JP Morgan Chase and Citigroup will post their results on Friday. Let us now listen into what the market experts have to say about the inflation trends in the US and the expectations of rate cuts by the Federal Reserve later this year.
It's going to be slow to get from 3 to 2, and the issue will be services. Economy is cooling. We're moving in that direction, but I think the last mile will be more challenging, and there's a few reasons for that. Globalization has become deglobalization. We've got substantial fiscal spending and deficits that are actually still stimulating the economy. You've got a number of other issues. So I think the challenge for the Fed is this last bit will be slower, and they're very aware of that, I think. I think if I were sitting in my former seat, I'd be getting ready to cut the rates in September. I wouldn't make any commitments between now and then, but I think they're positioning to cut rates in September.
I think they're moving in the right direction. I think the Chair Powell has a script. He's going to continue to say that he needs to see a few more good inflation statistics numbers in the months ahead. I think he'll get them. I think inflation is, all the trend lines look good, moving back to target, and I think he'll get the numbers he needs. And I would expect them to start cutting rates in September. Now, if I were on the Fed, I'd been arguing for rate cuts at the end of last year. I think they're taking an increasing risk of putting too much pressure on the economy and financial system and ultimately potentially breaking something. And I don't think that's necessary because the economy is at full employment and again, inflation's headed back to target. But, I'm not on the Fed and that they have a different judgment, but I think they'll have the evidence they need to start cutting rates in September.
Okay, all right, let's move on to another important news. Boeing agrees to plead guilty to misleading regulators in the 737 MAX criminal case over the 2 fatal crashes that killed 346 people. The move will brand the world's largest aerospace company a felon. CNBC's Philip Yu gets us all the details.
Shares of Boeing moving a little bit higher. I wouldn't call it a relief rally, but certainly investors in Boeing are saying, good, one more hurdle that has been cleared. And this case with the DOJ, it basically comes down to this agreement. Boeing will plead guilty to a felony fraud charge, conspiring to defraud the federal government. They'll pay $243.6 million, another $455 million they will commit to safety and compliance programs, and a judge will appoint an independent corporate monitor. Boeing is officially declining to comment on the plea details here. That's because it hasn't been finalized by the court. We'll still hear from the victims' families. They don't like this agreement. They think it's another sweetheart deal, and they'll be filing with the court as well. Perhaps in the next 2 weeks, we'll find out if this agreement is finalized. And that raises the question, what's next for Boeing? If you're a Boeing shareholder, here's what you're focusing on. Plea deal finalization, potentially in the next couple of weeks here. Corporate monitor will be appointed. And again, that person will be reporting back that Boeing is doing what it's supposed to be doing in terms of safety and compliance. And then the CEO search accelerates, and attention will be focused more on Boeing chair Steve Mollenkopf. So far, he has said nothing publicly in terms of where the company is in the search process. But the priority right now is to get this going, especially since current CEO Dave Calhoun is gone at the end of the year. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some kind of movement on this, perhaps in the next couple of months. Take a look at shares of Boeing. Remember the other big event that's coming up, Q2 results on July 31st, and we'll get a little more clarity in terms of the impact in terms of free cash flow. The company's already changed its guidance in that regard, but we'll see if there's any change in that. So those are the events that investors should be looking forward to over the next 2 or 3 weeks, guys.
Okay, all right. That is an important international story. We'll keep getting you more updates on this one. Let us now get you the final update on our global market wrap this morning. Stocks in Europe closed lower on Monday, capping off a volatile trading day as investors reacted to a surprise win for the left in the country's parliamentary election. The French CAC provisionally closed down 0.6%, reversing gains earlier in the session. The British FTSE edged 0.1% lower, while the German DAX closed flat. The Pan-European Stock 600 index also ended flat. The euro was flat against the dollar, and trading in bond markets was also relatively muted. Okay, that is the global market action, but how will these overnight cues impact our own markets? We have our research team joining in to tell you just that. What is the trade setup looking like today, the stocks that are likely to be in the news, and the action from the F&O space as well? Hey guys, a very good morning to all of you. Hormaz, let me come across to you first up. What are the market cues we need to watch out for today?
Well, the setup has been pretty sluggish over the last 3 days. If you look at the Nifty price action and the closing basis, it's almost, the index has moved almost just 20 points in the last 3 trading sessions. So it's been pretty sluggish. But if you take a look at the contributors, it's been dominated by the 2 index heavyweights. It's been Reliance Industries that has been ensuring that the Nifty losses are being kept in check. And it's HDFC Bank on the other side. It pulled the market higher for a better part of last week, and then over the last 3 sessions has been dragging the market lower. So it's Reliance and HDFC Bank on either side that are putting almost a status quo on the Nifty, and it's back to square one almost for HDFC Bank now. It's almost down 9% from the record highs that it made last week. And on the other side, Reliance Industries over the last 1 month has gained 9%. So it's a battle between the 2 heavyweights as of now on the index. The broader market saw a slight bit of pressure in yesterday's trading session, underperforming the benchmark indices. But there was plenty of activity in the broader markets when it comes to specific stocks. The advanced decline ratio also tilted towards the declines. Now, there were outliers as well. There was buying seen in the FMCG stocks. There was buying seen in oil and gas names as well, courtesy of Reliance Industries. But you have to watch out for the PSU stocks today. It's defense one day, it's railways the other. Today, we have to keep an eye out on the Nifty PSE index as well. It's just 100 points away now from recovering all the losses that they made on the 4th of June, which was a Lok Sabha election day. So we'll keep an eye out on that. There is the financial services expiry today, so that will keep the Nifty Bank in focus towards the second half of trade. The business updates continue, so there will be reactions to that, and of course there will be plenty of stock specific action in the broader markets, and the GIFT Nifty as well, suggesting an absolutely flat start for our own markets.
Oh yes, it is absolutely flat. Thank you so much, Hormaz, for joining us with all those cues. Let me go across to Sudarshan. He will list out the stocks to watch out for in today's trading session. Good morning, Sudarshan. A lot of quarterly updates.
Morning, so in the quarterly updates, we'll start with Godrej Consumer. It has come out with its Q1 updates. It was a mixed quarterly update. Overall sales growth is expected to be flat, with EBITDA growth is likely to come in double digits. India growth will be in high single digit in value terms. Container Corp Exim volume remains a concern. Domestic volume growth is likely to come in at 15%, Exim at 3.3% with overall volume growth at 6%. Mahanagar Gas has hiked CNG price by rupees 1.50 per kg and domestic PNG price by rupees 1 per SCM. Jupiter Wagon sources say it has launched rupees 800 QIP. Indicative price is likely at rupees 655 per share, which is at a discount of more than 9% to its CMP. PT Engineering has launched rupees 360 crore QIP and floor price as per SEBI formula is at rupees 1054 per share, which is a discount of almost 9% to its CMP. Utkarsh Small Finance Bank, RBI has approved Govind Singh's reappointment as MD and CEO for 3 years. Company has already had in January 2024 had approved appointment of Govind Singh for 3 years. Effective September 21, 2024. HG Infra, it has signed MOU with Ultra Vibrant Solar Energy to acquire shares or voting rights in project companies. Polyplex Corp production at manufacturing plant at Uttarakhand unit is suspended due to rains. And last is Swan Energy. BlackRock Global Funds has bought 18 lakh shares via block deals at 668 per share. Keep an eye on these stocks that might be in focus in the trade today.
Okay, all right. That's a long list, but thank you so much, Sudarshan, for getting us up to speed with that one. Let's go across to Manglam. He's joining in with all the cues from the F&O space this morning. Hey, Manglam.
Good morning. So, there is consolidation which is underway in the frontline indices. So, you have the Nifty, which was marginally in the red yesterday, largely flat, despite the Nifty bank down about 0.5%, and the mid-caps actually taking off about a third of that index as well. The biggest reason for that was Reliance actually contributing to the way up. But what's interesting is that despite the market consolidating ahead of big events like earnings as well as the budget, India VIX actually spiked, and that's begun to rise once again. So that's something we need to keep an eye out on. Yesterday, the India VIX was up around 7%. The stock that was contributing on the way up over the last few trading sessions has been Reliance, and that has led the Nifty to stay flat despite a big downtick coming in from the banks and other stocks as well. In the cash market, both the FIIs and the DIs are buying, but FIIs purchase was pretty small at around 61 odd crores. But over the index futures, it's been the second straight session where they've been unwinding some long positions, which is actually good for the market because we are seeing some money being taken off the table as the market consolidates. Yesterday as well, close to around 7,000 long contracts were unwound after 10,000 contracts being unwound the previous trading session. And despite that, the FII long exposure still stands at 84% with net contracts at just under 3.8 lakh. Active Nifty options, 24,300. That's where the fulcrum is because we have the 24,300 call, which is active for a premium of 120 rupees, and also the 24,300 put. That should come up for you on the screen. That too has been pretty active with a premium of 88 rupees. Both of them together having a premium of 200 rupees, telling you that the street is still playing for that range of 24,100 to 24,500 on the Nifty. Nifty Financial Services weekly expiry today, so that index will be in focus, particularly in the second half. And like we pointed out, Chambal Fertilizers has entered the F&O ban. Alongside that, we have Indus Towers entering F&O ban today as well.
Okay, all right. Those are some stocks that will be in focus, and that's the F&O setup as well. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us today. Let's slip into a break now. When we come back, we'll get you more news and updates on the other side of this short break. Stay tuned for that. Welcome back. You're still tuned into Power Breakfast. Hearing the NEET paper leak case in the Supreme Court, the NEET paper leak case, the Chief Justice D.Y. Chandrachud sought more details before deciding on a retest. The court also wants the CBI to submit a status report on the probe's findings so far. My colleague Ashmit filed this report yesterday.
To begin with, the Supreme Court started hearing the batch of petitioners who are seeking a cancellation of this entire exam. And to substantiate their position, what the petitioners are arguing is that on an ordinary year, it's about 1 or 2 candidates who secure 100% marks. This year, the anomaly appears to be 67 candidates who've secured 100% marks, 720 out of 726 of them from a single center. The second aspect that has been cited by the petitioners is that there is a press release that was seemingly put out by the Bihar police, which confirms their fears about the papers being leaked a day ahead on May 4th on a Telegram channel. Now, this is something that the Apex Court took note of, but nonetheless did observe that any decision with respect to cancellation of the exam will impact over 23 lakh applicants, students. Their futures will be on the line. And to that end, the Supreme Court said that it needs to bear in mind 2 aspects. Number one, how widespread was this leak? Did it come only hours before the test? Was it on social media? Did it spread rapidly? Did it grow viral? The second aspect that needs to be identified as per the Apex Court is who were the beneficiaries of this fraud. The Apex Court at this point holding that there are no two ways about it. There is no point going in self-denial. There has been a leak. We need more details. We need more information. And to that count, more details have been sought from the NTA. How was this paper drafted? How was it deployed across various cities and centers? What were the modalities involved? The CBI has been asked to come back with a status report of its investigations. The center has been asked to clarify whether there is a scope for using modern diagnostics to figure out who the beneficiaries were. And all these data sets, we understand the Apex Court has sought by Wednesday evening. This case will get taken up for further hearing and for hopefully more clarity on Thursday, that's June 11th.
Okay, all right, Ashmit, thank you so much for joining us with all those details. Moving on, a day after heavy rains bring Mumbai to a standstill, the IMD has issued another alert warning of heavy rain in the city today. The BMC has also taken a number of steps to protect citizens. Santhya is joining us on the phone line with the details. Good morning, Santhya. What are you picking up?
Good morning. So yesterday was not a good day for Mumbai and the entire Mumbai metropolitan region. Keeping that in mind, this time IMD also has on time issued an alert. The category though remains yellow, which means heavy rainfall. Keeping that in mind, BMC has declared a holiday for all the schools and colleges in the city. Yesterday also BMC declared a holiday for all the schools and colleges in the city. Not just BMC, many more municipal corporations of Mumbai metropolitan region, whether it's Navi Mumbai Municipal Corporation or Thane Municipal Corporation or Kalyan Dombivli Municipal Corporation, all these corporations have also declared a holiday for all the schools in their respective regions. Other than that, as per the officials of Central and Western Railway, they have claimed that the trains on all the lines, Western, Central, Trans Harbour, Harbour, Fast, Slow, up and down, all the trains are running on time and they're running normally. As far as the road traffic and the road situation is concerned, there also only one diversion has been reported for a best bus. Other than that, the situation as of now seems much better than what it was yesterday.
Okay, it seems better. Let's hope it remains that way. Santhya, thank you so much for joining us with all those details. We'll keep coming back to you for more updates. Definitely an important update to track for sure. Moving on to some international news now. Prime Minister Narendra Modi arrives in Moscow for the 22nd India-Russia Annual Summit for a bilateral meet with his Russian counterpart, Vladimir Putin. This marks PM Modi's first visit to Russia since its invasion on Ukraine. The Prime Minister reaffirmed that India seeks to play a supportive role for a stable and peaceful nation. The two leaders spoke on many mutual concerns, including energy cooperation, trade and defense as well. Russia has also decided to discharge all Indians working for the Russian army. Okay, let's slip into another break now. Up next, we'll get you all the cues from the commodities market. A lot of action happening there. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're still tuned into Power Breakfast. Well, let's welcome Manisha Gupta on the show. She's joining us with all the update from the commodity space. Hi, Manisha. Good morning. A lot happening in crude, silver, copper as well.
Oh, well, yes, there's some profit taking that we finally are looking at in many of these commodities. So while the first week of July was a great week, but today and overnight there has been some decline here. I'll start with the crude oil prices, which are now trading at a one-week lows. Well, the Hurricane Beryl has made a landfall and it has been less damaging than expected at the Texas coast. Remember, 40% of the U.S. crude and oil is produced at Texas and various ports and terminals were shut. But we do understand that the damage has been minimal. And then apart from that, senior U.S. officials are in Egypt for ceasefire talks between Gaza and Israel. Well, that conflict has been on for 9 months and the conversation seems to be progressing. Is also taking some premium off the prices. Not just crude, when you look at other metals, the weakness in US dollar while has been supportive, but it has been high inventories which continues to weigh onto the market. So whether it's about iron ore or copper, we have started the day slightly on the weaker note. And it's a similar scenario for gold and silver. Gold fell 1% overnight and silver fell 2%. China has refrained from gold purchase for a second straight month in the month of June. That seems to be weighing on.
Okay, all right. So some profit booking in some of these commodities. Thank you so much, Manisha, for joining us as always and getting us that update from the commodity markets. As we now wrap up on this edition of Power Breakfast, let's talk about the world waiting for the 2024 Summer Olympic Games to begin in Paris. Team India is getting ready to make a bold statement, not just in sports, but in fashion too. CNBC TV 18 Shivani Bazaz has this special report on the inspiration and symbolism behind Team India's ceremonial uniforms at the Olympics this year.
Paris, renowned for its luxury fashion, is set to host the 2024 Summer Olympics from July 26 to August 11. The opening and closing ceremonies promise to be a fashion spectacle, with teams showcasing designs that reflect their heritage. Team India's ceremonial outfit is designed by none other than Tarun Tahiliani in collaboration with Aditya Birla Fashion and Retail Limited's ready-to-wear label Tasva. Let's speak to the man himself and know his vision for India's Olympic couture.
These are Team India's ceremonial outfits from the studio of popular designer Tarun Tahiliani, created in collaboration with Aditya Birla Fashion and Retail's ready-to-wear brand Tasva. Tahiliani says that for the first time, Team India's ceremonial outfits will be a fusion of tradition and modernity, inspired by the most Indian symbol there is.
When I was doing my research on what athletes wore at the opening parade, the one thing that struck me, and it's something that India hadn't followed, was that they march with this big flag and the athletes wear something that always corresponds with the flag. So it seemed logical for me to use the tricolour as inspiration, right? And it's white, off-white, with the orange, the green, and then the very dark blue, which is used in the chakra, but we kept it in a very subtle way, for just the buttonholes and a little detailing.
Tahiliani's vision includes elements that resonate with India's rich textile heritage while ensuring a contemporary sporty appeal. The design incorporates ikat weaves in the bandi jackets and details inspired by hunting and safari outfits, symbolizing the gladiator-like spirit of modern athletes. For the opening ceremony, male athletes will wear kurta bandi sets, while female athletes will don saris featuring digitally printed panels in saffron and green, symbolizing the Ashoka Chakra for peace and unity. Custom sneakers give this outfit the most modern twist.
This year, unlike other years where they march around a stadium, France being France, the Olympian teams are going to sail down on barges down the Seine, and so we imagine that this, because of the wind, the flag will be fluttering, and all our 300 athletes will be standing behind. So we decided to give them a sneaker, but how do we do a sneaker that feels Indian? So we used the Tassar gold brocade and made that into the sneaker. Such an Indian color, such a typical thing of India, beautiful, pattern, and that's how the uniform came about.
The outfits are made from breathable fabrics like cotton moss, ensuring comfort without compromising on style. Tahiliani says they reflect the impeccable tailoring Paris is known for, while retaining the essence of Indian tradition. And he's certain Team India will make a mark at the Olympic Games in both sportsmanship and victories in style. In New Delhi, this is Shivani Bazaz.